It's that season again, which means my favorite holiday is waiting around the corner to strike me with an axe. I love Halloween, so this is a perfect video for October. It's cool to go back and see how internet horror has evolved over the years. This is kind of like a review slash comparison video, I guess. I love all the formats, ARGs, creepypastas, and analog horror, and I'll probably mention my personal favorites from each category. Starting with creepypastas because that's the oldest and that's also the one I have the most vast encyclopedic knowledge of. Most creepypastas are written from first person, but they can be written from any point of view, and they're basically like urban legends. The unique thing about creepypastas is sometimes they were made to be like ambiguously real. In 2023, everyone knows Slenderman is fake. We even know the exact guy who created him. But back when these were originally posted, there was kind of a mystery around them, because you couldn't easily find out if they were real or not. For example, this really old creepypasta called Ted the Caver. It was this series about Ted exploring a really tight cave and getting lost. Some people who came across that probably thought it was real. Creepypastas can vary wildly in how supernatural they are, because some of them are like crazy haunted video game cartridge, and then other ones are super vague but realistic, like someone breaking into your friend's house and then pretending to be them on the phone. Creepypastas also have no production value. They're completely carried by the skill and creativity of the writer. There's no cool editing tricks you can do, there's no audio, there's no special effects. It's basically a book. Most creepypastas don't age well just because whatever was scary or edgy once has just become completely cliche. My favorite creepypastas are the Rake and NES Godzilla. One type of story I've only seen in creepypastas is like some sort of ritual. Like it'll tell you, turn all the lights off in your house, wait till 2 AM, put a candle in the middle of your room and walk around it and fart on it, and then Scary Man will appear. And they'll act like it's completely real. They'll say their uncle died from it or something. An example of a modern creepypasta, which is a story that's recent, but still has the style and structure of one of the older ones, is definitely The Backrooms, and Super Mario 64 is personalized. The Backrooms is interesting. It started out like a classic creepypasta, and then over time mutated into sort of an ARG. The Backrooms started out as an anonymous, spooky post. Basically, the idea was you're trapped in this infinite room, and you don't know if anything else is there. However, what became a point of contention is everyone just started throwing random monsters into the Backrooms, and all the different millions of levels, and all sorts of, like, factions and stuff. It just got way out of hand. And that split people into the ones who think only the OG Backroom story is canon, like it's just you by yourself in there, or people who prefer Kane Pixel's version where all the entities are wandering around and it's treated more like an ARG. This is where my knowledge starts to drop off. I don't really know many ARGs. ARG stands for Alternate Reality Game. It can be told from any perspective. It could be a series of messages, it could be a secret hidden in an image file, it could be a video, and usually they interact with the audience and have you solve a puzzle or like decode something. ARGs don't necessarily have to be scary, they just take place in real time and seem to document something strange going on. When I think of an ARG, I think of The Sun Has Vanished, which is a Twitter account that posted updates like every few days. How it started was he woke up and it was still pitch black outside, the sun had disappeared, and then as the story continues, he like looks around and the power is out. He goes outside to explore the neighborhood and then sees a glowing ball in the sky, and then he runs back inside and hides because aliens are after him. In between ARGs and analog horror, you have stuff like Local 58. Nothing overtly supernatural is happening, it just seems like a strange old broadcast from some random city. Local 58 to analog horror was like Jeff the Killer to creepypastas. It basically exploded the genre, but everything after it for a while was a low quality copy. Analog horror is usually in the form of some broadcast or tape or documentary. It's usually told in a third-person perspective. I've never seen one that was told in first person, but I guess they could exist. Usually includes distorted visuals, static, basically old broken down technology. They could also use stuff like emergency alerts. These are different from ARGs because they usually don't interact with the audience, they just give information. One of my favorite analog horror series is Vita Carnis. Scientists discover this new type of animal or alien which has several different forms depending on how old it is or what it's eaten. There's big rooted ones that live in the forest and have like vine traps that you could step on. There's big skinny tall ones that stalk humans. It doesn't rely on cheap jump scares or like staticky distorted faces. The series URBANSPOOK should have just been a creepypasta. There's a ton of text and static images anyway, and most of the horror comes from the pictures and descriptions. It kinda has the same vibe as the Russian sleep experiment. It's trying to be unique since most analog horrors are about some monster or entity, and this one's just about a serial killer. It's cool if you like that more realistic type of horror, I guess, but it doesn't take full advantage of the format. The way we look back at creepypastas and laugh because most of them were crappy in retrospect, the same thing will probably happen to analog horror in like 10 years. I think that was a good overview. I threw some of my favorites in there, and I guess I'll wrap it up. But basically, just how Vocaloids evolved into VTubers, creepypastas evolved into analog horror. That's it.